So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday night connection with all of you here. And there's such a beautiful group of people over here. And thank you for hosting us, Kiki and Iran. It's beautiful love and good smell. What's going on here? No, there's something good, right? Yeah. Anyway, so we're happy to get connected again, all of us together. And if you remember, in the last few weeks, we start talking about the idea of Pharaoh, right? And again, where are we coming from? We're talking about that. Obviously, the study that we do is a tremendous gift. So I actually shared in earlier classes about the gift of study, right? There are, for those of us who don't know, there are 613 different actions that we should do or we shouldn't do, right? Everybody know, look at it as religion. But each one of those 613 are almost like muscles that needs to grow. So I always had a problem because I said, I'm never going to do all of them. There's no way I'm going to achieve a connection to all of them. Some of them is outrageous. There's no way, outdated in a way. But each one of them have a beautiful secrets and why they work. But what is the gift of study? It says as you have the 22 letters in the Hebrew letters, there's 22 letters. They are the DNA of this world. These are what the Kabbalists explained, that the DNA of the structure of human being is ATCG, right? There's 4 letters combination they tell you this is your DNA in different order or different structure. Same thing to the human have, but our soul also have DNA. And this world also have DNA. And the Kabbalah explained you have to connect to the letters, which we call the 22 letters. Now, letters in Hebrew, when you say letter, how you call it? Otiyot. Ot. Ot is not letter. It's also letter, but it's also a sign, right? Leotet, when you signal, there are some. But when you signal as you single, right? So the idea of otot leotet, but it's also a siman, a sign. Ot, it's a sign, which is, it's never really just about a letter. Literally, when you speak or read or whatever it is, the Kabbalists call it as a bridge. It uses the letters as a delivery system between the light of the Creator, the purest light, to our dense reality, which is our thickness of ego, of reality. How can you bring a pure light to someone like that is not as elevated? That being said, these 22 letters, each one of them have a source, a root, that 613 different actions are rooted within the letters. That's been said. We're not going to speak about that, but we speak about the first letter. It's called Aleph. The letter Aleph represents the study of Kabbalah and the Torah, which is, it says, the Kabbalah says, yes, one cannot achieve a connection to do all of these actions. He's not going to leave 600 of actions. It's outrageous, right? But the idea is, to whatever extent you can start doing actions or stop engage in a negative action, right? Sometime in life to connect, you just need to stop doing the things that are leading you into getting into trouble. And sometimes you need to start doing action that leads you into a proactive life, into something that you can create. So one of the things that he speaks about, that whatever your spiritual level is, when one of the practices that you want to have is the spiritual study. Many people are excited just to write on their Facebook that they are, or whatever, Instagram, I'm spiritual. Very much enjoying that, which is fine. But eventually you feel like a fraud because you're putting that and 2 seconds later you're posting something that you're in a party and you're doing something, right? Something is, you're spiritual and you're doing that. That's, well, I can do that. Yeah, but eventually the person himself feel that he is a fraud. And eventually it stops. So what I recommend, whatever level you're achieving, wherever you are, you're doing, you're not doing, you do a little bit, whatever it is that you do, just this week, because actually we started the new moon of the month of Aquarius yesterday night, which is also today. You want to make decisions with yourself that no matter I'm doing the little bit, commit to do it consistent. Whatever it is that you do, whatever the extent that you do, I don't ask you for more. I'm asking you to just to do what you do. If you don't do anything, choose one thing that you can add a little bit. But if you want to add one thing, I would highly recommend to you what we call in the letter Aleph is the study. It says to whatever that you're not doing, the study is filling up all those spaces, all the gaps of what you are not doing or not yet ready to do. Does that make sense to everybody? So just this hour right now, the 20, 30 minutes that we study right now, it's filling up gaps within your vessel that are, cannot be filled in any other way, just with this wisdom and with this study. So this is, the Kabbalah is explained, this just now it makes sense to me. How I can connect, how I can do this work. So now I got even more excited about study every day, even deeper, even more, longer, but that's me. But I highly recommend to add or to commit to do something that you do. Why? Go back to this week, and obviously, and I want to speak a little bit about the new moon in a quick second. We speaking within these weeks, and again, the story goes that the Israelites are populated in Egypt. And in Egypt now there's a new Pharaoh. And that Pharaoh is very almost negative, way more than other Pharaoh before, and start making their life difficult. Last week we spoke about, if you remember, that Moses rise up, and now he strike with 7 plagues. And this week it's called Parashat Bo, portion of Bo. It's the last 3 plagues. Now, prerequisite is always important. For some of us, it's first time we're hearing that. I hope we always remember that we're not talking about Egypt over there in Africa. We're not talking about some Moses and Pharaoh, all these myths, or a story or historical document that we're talking about. What we're talking about here is that our reality is structured with these characters. So for example, what is Egypt? We're always speaking about it. Egypt represents how you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning into Egypt. What is Egypt? It's called Mitzrayim, is Egypt. Is the word Meitzar, tsar, narrow, meaning I waking up to a small picture. Nobody wakes up like, wow, amazing, right? Everybody take the time. They're waking up so small. You're almost like crawling out of bed, right? Like most of us, like it takes time to kickstart the day. It's not like, wow, there's some days like that, but a lot of time you waking up to a dark, and your job, your work of the day is to ignite the day, is to ignite your vessel, right? Which means you wake up in Egypt. In the end of the day, you need to get to Israel. It's not that you have to go to Israel. Israel is not a nation. Israel is consciousness that we now, in the last couple of weeks, we're talking about how to ignite, how to bring ourselves from Egypt, from a small place, to what we call Israel, which is a code of Yishrei Hakel, or Yashar Li, Li Rosh, right? Or you call it Yashar Kel, which means the people, you take the word Israel, is not a place. It's a code that each one of us want to achieve a direct relationship with the Creator, your Creator. And also, everything that you do is for the sake of revealing that light. That's what Yisrael, that's what I want to do, that my day will be meaningful, right? From Egypt to Israel, every day, every single day. What do we have throughout the day? Moses waking up and come to Pharaoh. You have a little Pharaoh and a little Moses inside. And that Pharaoh, and then Moses comes and says, hey, I want to go to Israel today. Today, I want to be elevated. Today, I want to be spiritual. Today, I want to change the world. Today, I'm making a deal. Today, I'm choosing to be good. What Pharaoh comes and says? Last week, we spoke about it. I'm not convinced that you really wanted that, right? I'm striking Pharaoh, back and forth, right? That's what we spoke about last week, about this relationship that is every single day. And I remember growing up, I'm learning these stories. No, I didn't learn Kabbalah, but growing up, you have to go to Bible study, and it's in Israel. It's almost like a must. But I never really get it. Why do I care about Egypt? What do I care about it? I don't care about it. I don't care they ate matzah, cracker. Who cares? I'm not in the desert. I'm not going anywhere, right? Who cares about Pharaoh? Thousands of years. When I study Kabbalah, when I teach her, open my eyes. Are you crazy? Everybody in the world, all the religious world got it wrong. It's nothing to do with an historical or tradition that we need to eat that. It's tools. It's consciousness. Every day Egypt, every day Israel. Who are you fighting? Moses is the voice that comes, that positive voice that you have, that elevated voice that you want to have, that you want to be heard in this world. And Pharaoh, no, you stay in here. I'm not letting you go, right? So the day goes and the days become difficult, a plague, right? Difficult. And then Pharaoh says, okay, go connect spiritually, go to the Kabbalah class Monday night, go. Okay, it's the end of the day, go. But throughout the day, you can be selfish, I get you, right? And then the Pharaoh is convinced by striking him, right? And then he says, okay, I'm going to let them go. That's what's happened 7 times. Now, today, we enter to that last 3 plague. Now, the same conversation happening, but now we're taking it to a different level. So after we understand the spiritual interaction, that it's not a story, because we're reading about it this week, the energy, the revelation is prepared to download this week. So each one of us know about it, study about it, and making connection to it in this week. You already activate, you have a huge support spiritually to elevate yourself to a completely different level. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to it, park it, okay? Want to go to connect to this energy that is available called the new moon of Aquarius. We learn that if I'm achieve the level of Israel lemala me'amazal, the Israel doesn't have a sign of the zodiac, right? They said Israel is above luck. Now, many people, thinking the mazal is the luck. Mazal is the sign, right? The sign of your zodiac. And he said that Israel, whoever is it, now the Israeli people or Jewish people grew up and said, no, we're not allowed astrology because we are above it. They really got it wrong. They got it wrong. Because mazal is something completely different. Mazal is from the word minzal, which is being lucky, is nothing to do with that. Being lucky or connecting to luck is the idea when you connect it to a flow. That's when you have a minzal, when you have a flow in your life. That's mazal. Mazal, you don't really, you're so lucky. Let's understand. It's not, everybody's lucky. If they make themselves lucky. It's not like, you're so lucky you born this, you born, no. That's a silly conversation. We're talking about mazal of the sign of the zodiac. And he says, Israel, lemal, they don't have mazal Israel. What does it mean? If you remember before, I spoke to you about it, that you every day need to achieve the level of Israel. And what does it mean? It means that you achieve the level that any limitation of this physical world, you're above it. That's what Israel means, that you're above the limitation of the zodiac, of the 12 signs. What's wrong with them? Nothing wrong with them. We, each one of us, when we're connecting spiritually, we above any fragmentation, any limitation that exists in this world. We don't understand it. We're still living in this physical world, but that's the goal. The goal that nothing in this physical world will control me. That's the goal. What we call Israel. So now we learn that Israel monim al pi levana, whoever is connected to this lunar calendar is calling Israel. They counting based on that circle, the circle of the moon. And the rest of the nations, right, or the rest of the people, we know they're going according to the sun, or majority of the world going according to the sun cycle. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? The calendar, right? The calendar of the sun, or there is the moon. Let's understand. He says, Israel monim levana, the Israel counting or going according to the moon cycle. Yeah, I wish we have like a couple of hours to study just that. It's just beautiful understanding. The sun represents external people. The moon represents internal people. What does it mean external? The sun is a direct light, right? The sun, when you look at the sun, is a direct light. All the nation think that if I will be able to control the sun, I will control this world. And that is the majority of the problem, because that's what the calendar was made. Again, it's ancient, it's history, but most of that was about controlling the gods or the energy. If you look in all those temples and all those secret temple underground, it's always positioned in a certain way, building structure. You can look at that in History Channel. It's beautiful the way they structure it. But it's only to control the energy of the sun, a specific star, that alignment and all of that. That's how they build it. But again, what does it mean for us? It means that whoever is connecting what we call like the sun, is connecting just to the external. How do I know that I connected to the moon? What is the moon? The moon doesn't receive the light directly, right? It's an indirect light I'm received from the moon to this world. Does that make sense to everybody? It's not a direct. Moon represent, I have someone above me. And this is what each one of us wants to awaken. That it's not you who did this. It's not you who created this. It's not my idea. It's what's been given to me. Now you completely different, as opposed to I'm the one, I'm the only one. Yeah, you are the one, but not the only one. You are great, but as you remember that you are a vessel that receive from the light of the Creator, as opposed to transforming yourself to a God, right? Some people claim this way. So ask myself in this month, are you an internal person, an inner person, meaning a person that understands that I'm not receiving the light directly? I need to, for example, let me just phrase it a little bit different. If I think that I'm the source, there is a certain limitation that will happen to you and to whatever you engage with. But if I understand I'm just a channel, and so you remove the me, you remove the you remove the involvement of you. For example, this wisdom is not mine. I didn't come up with that. I didn't come up with it. It's very clear for me. So I know I'm sitting here and I'm teaching you zero from me. I'm not even here. You're going to meet me after the class if you want. I'm not so serious about it that it's funny. Because if you don't think this way, right? Let Benjamin come in, right? It's not here. Once you hear, it's just gets stuck on you or from you and on, okay? So when you ask yourself, am I an internal person or inner person? What does it mean? When I know that I look at outside to this world, and the reason I don't see something or I see something is because it exists within me or don't exist within me. If I see something wrong outside with someone, with my girlfriend, with my boyfriend, with my wife, whatever it is, or my boss is treating me this way, why is it such a bad boss, right? Stop. Am I external person? External people thinking the boss is bad. External people thinking this is wrong and this is wrong and that's not happening. Someone who will go internally, inner, right? That deeper. Realize that when I shift something inside, it shifts something in my reality. Once you start living life like that, you cannot turn back. Once you really realize, again, practice it few times, few times that you need to, someone is bothering you. Don't do anything beside, look inside. Why does it bother me? Where within me can I transform that? What is that person is triggering here for me? And again, we heard it a million times, but this is in this new moon, you want to change it. You want to change your structure. Being an internal person, meaning someone who's thinking internally and change things externally, not thinking external and trying to change himself so people will like him, right? People live life like that. So now I'm going to do this, you're going to like me, or you're going to invite me to the party if I'm going to be dressed nice, or if I'm doing this, right? We will be a puppet of people, right? This is external people. Oh, I got so many likes on this post I gave, so I guess I'm good, right? I'm good, right? So let me do more. Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? So I'm changing based on what people telling me. It's good maybe for marketing, but life, you don't want to do that. All of us change because we wanted our parents to accept us, to approve us. We're going to work. If people smile to you, oh, wow, I guess I'm doing good. It's external people. Do you want to change it today in this new moon? Why? The new moon of this month called Aquarius. Aquarius, if you look at the symbol of how it looks like, it's someone who taking a bucket. Have you seen that? If you look at the symbol of how it looks like, a Pisces is 2 fish, like a Libra is the scale, all of that, right? The symbol, so astronomy teaching you, right? The astrologer, they show you that the constellation look exactly like that bucket. That's why they call it. They didn't came up with that. The constellation if you have a telescope, you can see the constellation of the stars aligned the same as the shape of a bucket. So you think it's a wonder or someone came up with that? No, it's still physical. Therefore, we not bow to that, right? Or connect to it. We want to go above it. How do you go above something if you don't know its characteristic? That's why every month we learn the characteristic, the nature, the teva, right? The nature of this sign of the zodiac, but we never look at it in a way of like, oh, you are Aquarius, so you have no sense of color and shape and form, right? That's what it is, right? Oh, you're Aquarius, yeah, you're all alone and you just want to be leader by yourself, right? Oh, all kind of like statements of the sign. Oh, you Pisces, oh, you scared, or you this, you Libra, you don't know how to decide, or you Scorpio, yeah, Capricorn, you have a problem with money. Right? It's like everybody's like becomes so specialized with that. Kabbalistically is so wrong. To learn your nature, meaning to learn your limitations so you can overcome that, not because to tell you who you are and that you're doomed. So every month we receive an opportunity to be completely above the sign, completely above limitation. One of the things we can connect, again, this month, Aquarius, we know it's the month of Aquarius is represented by now. We enter to what we call the era, right? The Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, which represent the age of revolution and revolutionary idea. Okay, so, what I would like to ask each one of us is to reinvent the way you do your work. There's a great support to think out of the box this month and to do something that is completely not of your characteristic, to change it up in a way, be surprising even yourself. Okay, that's this month can do. But another thing that you would like to ask the light, the energy that is available, the bucket, what is the bucket represent? Is Mazala Shel Israel. Dli bucket represent the conscience of Israel. Why? What is a bucket? If you look at the word Aquarius in Hebrew, the month called the month of Shvat. Shvat. It's the same word as Shevet, tribe. That's the word, tribe. What does it represent? A tribe is like a bucket. We all need to insert ourselves within the community, within a tribe, within a group. That's why when we hear and we study together, you have no idea the benefit for your soul is tremendous. Yeah, but I didn't understand a lot and I connected, don't connect. It doesn't matter. Your soul connected because you insert yourself. Betoch ami anochi yoshevet. I'm within the people. I'm not separating myself. I'm not isolating myself, right? And that is what you want to do this month. Make sure that you are plugged in to a group, a community, or even the students of Kabbalah coming together. Find a way to communicate with each other, to stay connected. That is this month. Because once you insert yourself, for what purpose? What do we saw in the bucket? Water. Water represents sharing energy. Water represents mercy. So you don't want to just to insert yourself in a bucket of people who are speaking only about themselves, right? There's no water there. There's dry out, right? It's a desert where people just me. Everybody suck the energy. What type of group is it? Look at that. Look at any group that you're gonna come. Me. Eventually, I don't want to go there, right? Even in here, you can be in the spiritual group. People who actually want to connect spiritually, and you find yourself like very selfish. So it takes time. But it's important to remember that it's not just putting yourself in a group, putting yourself in the right group of like-minded, people who want to change the world, people who have desire to increase more wisdom, more love, more energy in their life, as opposed to just survive, right? This is this month. This is the idea of the bucket. This is the idea of the moon. We want to remember that we are just a channel for this world. We are not it's not the light starts with me, right? And I have a couple more minutes, so I want to share another secret that the Kabbalah shared. Again, remember, I'm always in pain sharing classes because I deleted 7 or 8 other secrets right now, right in this moment. But if you can stay here, I can share, no problem. The Kabbalah says the gvul. What is the border between a positive action to a negative action? Have you ever seen yourself before that you are sure that you're not going to do something negative, and then in 2 seconds, boom, you've done it? I'm not going to speak bad, but I'm just going to say in the same conversation, right? I don't want to gossip, but you know. Have you heard that? Usually people say that what they don't want to do, and they do what they just said, I don't want to do it. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I don't want to eat the pizza. I'm just going to take a bite. Right? Like stuff like that. We don't even listen to ourselves. What is the border? Where does it shift? Again, I want to tell you something deeper here. It's beautiful that the Kabbalah speaks about. Here. The Kabbalah is explained, הגבול בין מצווה לעבירה הינו בערך המקבלים. It's only a positive or a negative action. It's only determined by the person who is doing it. What do you mean? Well, if I do something, let's say, I like to light candles for Shabbat. Or I like to I don't know, to give some charity, right? Remember, the difference between the charity that you give and the other person give, you might give the same money, or the help of volunteering that you do, another person do the same volunteering, right? I did the same thing. Why they receive more and I'm less? It's all be'erech ha'mekablim. It's all in the value of the receiver, of the person who's doing it. Now let's understand what it means. This is the beauty of Kabbalah. אדם המציב לעצמו תחום וגבול, כך מסכימים מלמעלה. Let me explain to you something beautiful. If you've done a negative action, right? Let's say you did something negative. If in your mind, right? If in your mind, like you come to the person and says, wow, why you get hurt? What did I do? It wasn't such a big deal, right? Let's say you did something negative, and in your eyes, it's not just a big deal. What's the big deal? What did I say? Happened to you before? What did I say? What did I do? Why are they making like a big deal of them, right? Right? Usually Israelis have this issue. They don't understand why the world doesn't like us, right? They don't get, well, I didn't do anything. What do you mean? Well, I just moved this from here to here, right? Now, again, most of us, when we're doing something negative, most of us, the nature of us, what do? We minimize the negativity in our eyes. I mean, it wasn't so bad. What did I just, right? We usually would like to, that's a big deal, let go, right? You know what happened? He says, if you consider that was a very much not that negative, you have to remember, tomorrow you're going to give the biggest donation that changed the world. It will be considered as little bit. It's equal. It's be'erech ha'mekablim. Do you understand that? If you look at the negative action you've done as small, also your positive action, no matter how big they are, they will consider that there is no very small, tiny light. It's really about us.
So is it judged on the receiver, how the receiver takes it?
Yeah, no, how you look at the action.
What he was doing.
Yes.
But you, the receiver, tomorrow.
Not specific action.
Any action. Let's say tomorrow you spoke bad about somebody.
Yeah.
Right? And you moved on with your day and you said, what's the big deal? Everybody speak bad about them. Right? And then the next day you came up amongst a fortune and you said, I want to build an orphanage. Right? Wow, tremendous light. The light that you receive is how much you saw the negative action.
It's equal. It's like
They equal.
the action is the action.
It's how I view it. So that's why many people stop doing positive action, because they never feel the light from that. Because why? The same way they look at a negative thing. You understand that it's just a beautiful, clear, so clear. If you understand that if I look down to any negative action I've done is like small, it's exactly work, because you are the channel into this. So because you don't increase that, so once, for example, once we realize, let's say, for example, a Kabbalist sometimes eat a piece of food, he reveal more light than someone who does so much work on themselves. Why? Because everything that they're doing, King David said it, that every step we used to be afraid. Every step he takes. King David, the most elevated king, right? Because he knew that in every step he takes, he can fall. He can fall, you're not secure. So he's always making sure to observe his negativity, to observe his ego, to check in all the time. Most people just once a month or once in the journey, they check in, oh, wow, now I saw my ego, right? I took something and now I saw how ego I have, right? It's every single day. Again, I hope that it's a beautiful thing to start looking in the thing that we do and to check, like, how do we, behave? And every negative thing that came out, don't judge the other person. Don't be chitzoni, don't be external person. Look inside. You know what? Wow, what made me speak bad about that individual? And start looking into it. Start looking more and more, and then you realize, wow, I don't want to be involved anymore with conversation like that. I don't want to engage in something like that. And when you see what we call chush hakarat hara, when you start seeing how bad it is, then every small action that you take spiritually reveal tremendous amount of light and secrets to your life. And it's very, very beautiful and small action that you can do, small action that we can actually change. Adam, how long we are in the, how much? 40? Okay, so one more. Okay. Last thing is, in this week in the Zohar, again, it's very, very small but beautiful. In the Zohar, in this week, and who will ever know the Zohar is the deeper study of the Torah, is the secrets of all the Torah. He said something beautiful. He speaks about that you cannot put an image to the Creator. And it's happening this week, so that's why it's revealed to us to connect it. And it says that you're not allowed to put God, light, or Creator in forms and shapes, right? Because it's above that. Here in this week, in the reading of this week, in the Torah as well, it seems like Moses speaking to God. And a lot of people say, he saw face to face. He speaks like panim el panim. He spoke to him like a friend. Now, again, I don't want to go into many, many details. But it says, how come Moses putting face to the Creator? And even he says, Utmunat Hashem Yabit. And you should see, and he saw the picture of the Creator. Let's understand what it means. Obviously, there's no shape and form to the Creator. But what there is a Creator within each and every one of us. And what the instructions are from Moses is to achieve what Moses achieved. You're Moses, you have it. I'm not talking about Moses in the desert. I'm talking that Moses is inside, he's a sleeper, right? What do we want to connect to? To the level of Moses. How? That he saw the Creator in every individual. So when I look at you, I don't look at people and beautiful, ugly, tall, fat, slim, whatever it is. No. It's for the Creator. See, Tumunat Hashem Yabit, see the face of the Creator within every individual. And your interaction with them completely different. You completely connected to them in a deeper aspect that even though it's the same conversation, you see the same employee, right? Happened to you before, you probably know. If you're married for, or you're with somebody for many, many years, all of a sudden after something happened and all of a sudden, wow, I can't believe that I never really knew that about them, right? Because you changed something. I hope it's only good things, right? But unfortunately, people finding after 20 years something bad, right? That's usual. But we want, if you're connecting on the frame of what we just spoke today, Tmunat Hashem Yabit, achieving the level that when I look at everything, I see in their picture, I see the Creator in them. I see their light. And that's what we want to receive. Again, apology for all the wisdom that I'm now closing, but thank you for being with us. Amazing. Please share it. Bring people, share this wisdom. More you share it, more light you receive, that filling up the gaps in your vessel. Thank you for coming.